I grew up north of Fort Worth in a suburb called Watauga, in a home where going to church wasn't necessarily encouraged. However, my grandparents on my father's side were devout members of the Church of Christ, and they were longtime faithful members of a congregation in East Fort Worth. I loved visiting them and learning about God and religion from a very young age. It was just something that was always there within me. My grandmother in particular saw the interest that I had, and she nurtured that. She spent a lot of time and care providing us kids with the religious experience that we were not exposed to at home with our parents. So whenever we stayed with my grandparents, we did get to go to church. And there were lots and lots of stories from the Bible as well as gospel music that my grandparents often shared with us. As a result, I came forward and was baptized in my grandparents' church in Fort Worth by the time I was 8 years old. When I was a teenager and not yet able to drive, I would have my dad get up on Sunday mornings and drop me off at Watauga Church of Christ, just down the street from where we lived. Then I would either ask him or my mom to take me back and drop me off both on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights for services. A few weeks after graduating high school, I'd already become a member of another church, Northwestern Hills Church of Christ, and I went on a mission trip with them. We drove up to Pennsylvania on a bus, and we worked with a small church up there for about 2 weeks. 4 years later, by the time I was graduating college, I had converted to the Baptist faith, and I was a member at Glenview Baptist Church in Haltom City. I wound up getting married in that church a month after graduating college. However, it wasn't long after that before I stopped going to church altogether. There was no specific reason other than just being out in the world as a young adult and not making church or my faith a priority. 6 years after marrying, I found myself enjoying the role of being a father to a 3-year-old son, but also living a life that didn't feel like my own. I had been questioning my sexuality for a couple of years, so I made the decision to finally come out as gay, and I divorced my wife. Still not an active member of any church, but also realizing I was no longer welcome now in either denomination that I had been a member of up to that point, I began to wander through life spiritually aimless. But thankfully, the Spirit wasn't done with me yet, and she would have her way with me in a yet soon-to-be fantastic calling. 4 years after coming out as gay, I made my first visit to Cathedral of Hope. It was a life-changing spiritual experience. The invitation to know a God that loved me, even though I was gay, that was just what my soul craved. And the music, oh, I had never heard live music in a church like that before. I was home. So I went through 6 weeks of membership classes, and I became a member of the Cathedral of Hope on April 1st, 1998. My own son then asked to be baptized at the Cathedral of Hope that same year, and like his dad so many years before, he too was 8 years old when he was baptized. Throughout my 22 years here at the Cathedral, I have volunteered for various things, including helping out with the collection of Thanksgiving baskets on Benevolence Sunday, working on the archival team, and a few other volunteer programs over the years. I've participated in countless classes and book studies, and am always looking for ways to dive deeper into my walk with God, as well as my connection with the church. My faith has been strengthened through good times and bad while attending the Cathedral. The church has seen me through job promotions, new relationships, my son graduating college, and then marrying my daughter-in-law. On the flip side, God has shown up through you guys when I needed support after I was diagnosed as HIV positive 18 years ago, when I went through a couple of breakups, having to say goodbye to family and friends as they joined the great cloud of witness that now surrounds us all, as well as my overcoming alcohol and substance abuse, for which I am, by the grace of God, 9 years sober. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know all that much. However, one thing I do know for certain is that God has always been there for me, unconditionally. I may not have always put in the time, and therefore God's presence felt a little more distant, But time and time again, I've seen that simply by suiting up, showing up, and trying to do something nice for someone else always brings me closer to that which I seek. So I want to end with a passage based on a favorite quote of mine by William Blake. I sought my God I could not see. I sought my soul eluded me. I sought someone in need, and I found all three.